What it is, ho? What's up? Can an artist get some cut? Welcome to another episode of the Handsome Artist Dating Stories, affectionately called The Hads, with your very favorite, well, the greatest artist of all time, Forrest Job. That's me. Clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. That's right. Oh, man. The struggle of dating as an artist, man. Boy. But before we get into it, I guess I'll talk a little bit about what's going on in my life. I can't remember what. I don't even remember the last time I did one of these episodes, so I don't know what I talked about. But if it's a repeat, then it'll be repeated shit. Moved down to Mexico, Puerto Vallarta to be exact, in January, and last week I moved into my own place, a long-term rental. Man, bruh, when I tell you, my faith in God has strengthened during this journey. um, it definitely has, because when I got down here, I kind of miscalculated the financial situation, and let's just say there were some times when I had to gather some pesos and take them to the store around the corner just to get something to eat. And fortunately, the place that I was staying, the couple there were very nice and kind and understood my situation, and I was able to stay there on days that I didn't have the money to stay. And I promised them, like, yo, as soon as I had to kind of piecemeal it together, and pulled out some pesos. I was like, here, this is for 3 days, and then bam, got another, and it was like, all right, pulls me to another 2 days, and then once I got paid, I was good, and yeah, it's been on and popping ever since. I really didn't want to go through the process of looking for another place, so I was able to stay there for about 2 months. But I knew that I didn't want to stay there long term. At first, I thought I did, but then the longer I stayed, I was like, you know what? I need to have my own spot, because I am a hoe. I still be wanting to do slutty shit, and yeah, the fact that they were evangelists and the church was next door, and they stayed upstairs, and there was cameras everywhere. It was the fact that kind of felt like I had my parents that were staying very close by. And even though, I'm 42 years old, it's just something about having that parental feeling very close to you. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and find my own place. I didn't want to do too much looking. And fortunately, right across the street was some apartments. And I didn't necessarily know how to get in touch with the landlord, but one of the people that was staying in the area that I was in the compound, she had asked about the places across the street, and so she told me about it, and then so I was like, all right, cool. So I asked, like, who, what vehicle they were, and then so it was a whole thing about, I just stepped out on faith, walked outside, and then the landlord happened to be there. We talked, and I was like, hey, yo, you got any spots available? She's like, yeah, the 20th. And I was thinking about money wise. I was like, got that pushed back to the first, so it all worked out. Just all I had to do was pay the first month rent and deposit, which was basically I had to pay too much rent. I got a 2 bedroom for $800 a month, which is 16,000 pesos. And I was like, I'll take it. I didn't even see the apartment. I just saw the outside and stuff like that. It looked cool enough to me. So I walked in. I was so blown away. It's a beautiful spot. I was very thankful, grateful. God is so good. And yeah. So the next steps that I need to take care of is I need to take care of my immigration situation and start becoming a resident. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else? Nah, just little stuff. I need to get some faster internet because I would like to stream and mainly gaming streaming, because when I try to do live streams on like TikTok, I don't know, I prefer, or when I was trying to do my music, I just preferred I don't know, I didn't like it so much, so I rather just did the gaming. And then also I need to get a new Mac because my MacBook, oh man, the space on there, man, it's tight. It's tight situation going on with that one. It's just other little things that I need to take care of. And then what else? It was nice to have a girlfriend to come around. I would say it's nice to have some regular pussy to have over here, but I like to fuck without a condom. So that's what a relationship would be nice to come into play. But let me see, where do I want to begin? Where do I want to begin? All right. I've deleted the 8 dating apps again. It's just annoying. I know I go back and forth. I have moments where I'm like I'm dating that. Basically, my other phone that I had, all three of them. I had Hinge, Tinder, Bumble, and Field on them. I just delete all of them. I'm just tired of feeling like I gotta sell myself. Tired of the whole "Hola, como está? Muy bien, y tú?" or what brings you joy, or what are you looking for, this. And then I've talked about it many times before. At any moment during that process, shit could fall apart. It could not work. And who do I feel like talking about first? I think I'm gonna go through 3 scenarios. We'll go in order. There we go. We'll go ahead and go in order. So we'll start off with contestant number 1, Juliet. Met her on Hinge. She was 24 years old. I know. Tinder. That I didn't meet on Tinder. The age difference, fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I probably should. Well, and there is a case that I should, because there's a cashier around the corner at the corner store that I go to, the kiosco that I go to on the regular, and there might be some interest there. I don't know. She'd be asking questions, and I don't know. Originally, she told me how she was, and I asked her to get a confirmation tonight. And yeah, she's 17. So, I asked ChatGPT about it, and it was all like, proceed with caution, like don't do it. I can't remember I don't know. There was just it wasn't clear cut. So I was like, you know what? Leave it alone. I know there's some woman on there just saying like, or whatever, like, oh, it's a creep or some shit. Hey, in the words of Ye, I'm evil. That interview is really kind of, I've been influenced by that interview, letting the dark side come out a little bit more. So we'll see. I think the next time, because at first I asked her tonight, I was like, yeah, how cuantos tianos años? She told me 17. And right then and I kind of was like, all right, pump the brakes. I don't know. Maybe a follow-up question is like, hey, when do you turn 18? Maybe when I see her working again, I'll ask. And so there's that. But back to the 24-year-old Juliet. So we matched on Hinge. She was very attractive, but in the face she looked a little bit like NBA YoungBoy. I look forward to having an assistant to take care of these videos so they can put up these pictures and shit like that, because I sure would put up a picture of NBA YoungBoy right there. But yeah, so she stayed about um stayed about an a total about an hour away, 25 miles, I think. Hieger Blanco or something like that, basically a little bit north of PV. I don't think I fully paid attention because the thing about Hinge, it doesn't show you the distance away. It'll show you like the little town where they're at. You can adjust the distance, but sometimes it slips out outside. I can't remember what the settings were. I thought I put it for something closer, but that's why Tinder and Bumble is a little bit better because it showed you, hey, how far this bitch was away. But yeah, I was like, all right, cool. She spoke English. She was German and Dominican. Her mom's German, pops was Dominican. And so then the fact, yeah, she's 24, and I was at first I was a little bit hesitant to talk about my kids and stuff like that because I'm like, she was a year older than my son, 2 years older than my daughter, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it, whatever. I'm in a year, well, I'm in a season of vulnerability, so that's what I was leading with, and yeah, you know, we were both being, well, I was being as vulnerable as possible. The reason why I've got to be vulnerable, like with these women, is the fact I got to weed them out quick. I ain't trying to be fake, and then we come into a bump of the road, or I call it, the jazz music stops, which the jazz music stopping usually happens a little faster. And so let me see what else. There were some other things there. Like we were talking, and I felt like we were vibing. And so, we talked on the, we were using WhatsApp. So using what was I trying to say? Fucking mind is going blank. Video chat. There we go. And I was like, damn. And I don't like to be on the phone, but I enjoyed talking to her. So the conversations were going well. There were some red flags, a little bit. The fact that she would talk about how she wanted a man to be a man, and sometimes she wanted a man to build a door, and I was like, hey bitch, I'm an artist and I can do some masculine stuff, but a lot of other stuff I would just have somebody. I would just pay for that shit because I'll be thinking of in the sense of time. Like, why am I going to take the time out of my day to build a door, or as these women would like to say, well, can you build a house? Why would I build a house when I could pay for somebody to build a house? And I'd rather be creating than doing that. So little stuff like that. And then what else? What else? Oh, that body count. I don't be like, I don't give a fuck, really, for real. I do like sluts, but sometimes these sluts be a little too slutty for my taste. I mean, not too much, but where this situation, so put a pin right here. So I think she had about 60 something bodies by the age of 24. And I know she was born in Germany, and they're a little bit more, freer. So once again, I don't like, because when it comes to sluts, then they be the one to do the slutty shit that I want to do. And she was down for the threesomes, both types. I'm like, cool. There was also a little bit of kind of her said she wasn't homophobic, but she don't like to watch dudes like play with each other's dick. And I was like, hey, I might, like, we have a threesome with another dude, I might want to have him suck my dick. So there was that. I did tell her about, situation Houston and shit like that. And let me see what else was there. She was like, she loved to surf, and she would be up early, so we had two different schedules. So I was like, all right, I don't know how this, so the little shit that you overlook. And I'll be like, yo, I'll watch you surf. But a lot of times these hoes, they be wanting to go out surfing with them. And then let me see what else. I feel like there was another one. Oh well, if I remember it, I'll remember it. But then we're talking and we're talking, and then so we had plans to see each other. At first, I was gonna go out there. I was just gonna go. I was gonna get an Airbnb for like a day or two, probably like 2 days, and we do that. And then because I looked up how much it would have cost for it was gonna be, and I think about it, I was like gonna be like the fact that I would have had to get an Uber, go get an Airbnb, which is no problem. Like it wasn't expensive and shit, but just all the moving parts. And so when I looked it up, I think it would have cost. I think it was gonna cost about 600 pesos to get out there. So roughly about 20, 25, maybe 30 bucks, I think. And then so grand total like almost 50, a little over 50 bucks to get there and back. And so then she was like, I wouldn't be like, I'll come down there, because I guess she just wanted to get away for a little while. And so I was like, cool. So I went ahead and I sent her. I think I sent her about 50 bucks, almost, to come down. And I guess and then so it gets closer, and I'm like, hey, was that enough? She was like, oh, and in her mind, I guess she thought it was gonna be more. And then she started going on about she was just giving all these extra details, and then talking about how maybe we can meet in the middle, meet up halfway. And I'm all like, I just came back with like, yo, I didn't ask for all that. I just asked like how much it would cost, and I would send it. And then a little bit of aggression came out of her, and she was talking about, oh, I'm an oversharer, and I'm like this and that. I was like, okay, all right. I was like, I like to be very direct when it comes to logistics. So there we go. There was issue right there. There was an issue right there that came up. And then so I think it got to Thursday. Was it Wednesday? Maybe Wednesday or something like that. And she was all like, hey, what's the plan? Because friends are asking me about my weekend plans. And I'm like, okay. Because another conversation, she was talking about being out here for a few hours or something like that. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking like, if I'm giving you $50 and planning this whole weekend, I'm gonna get my money's worth. Like, yo. Now, it might sound crazy, but I'm thinking like, oh, the fact that, we have video chatted, all them through like several days. So I'm thinking like, all right, cool, spend on the weekend. I know someone about how can you expect, I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but in my mind, I was like, you know what? Sometimes I like to kind of do how like we did in artillery. Sometimes you got to adjust fire, you shoot it out there and then we kind of bring it on in. So I just threw it out there. I was like, hey, I was, initially thinking you come down for the whole weekend from Friday evening to Sunday. And, oh yeah, I think right around that time I had sent a little bit more. And then she was like, I guess she said, oh, I guess you're right. I guess it wasn't that much. Cause I was told, I was like, I looked on the Uber app. I guess she was thinking taxi or whatever. And she said, oh, I guess, she didn't say you were right. I guess it wasn't that much. Basically saying the nigga was right. I was like, I knew what the fuck I was talking about. And then after my message, she was like, you're delusional. I was like, oh shit, here we go. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, does it gotta be like that? That's where sometimes y'all women, y'all be doing stuff and saying things that just Mm. And so, and my response was, I'm an artist. My whole life is delusional. She was like, how could, you really think that I'm gonna come down there the whole weekend? And and I was just saying like, hey, what do you like? I gotta take care of these farm animals, and I got a dog and a cat and stuff like that. And I'm like, it's like, we've been talking, but I don't know everything that you got going on in your life. And so, and I'm like, yo, I'm like, hey, this is where compromising comes in. Let's come up to it with an agreement. And so, and during this time, I'm going to the ATM because I got to get, I got to get, I got to get cash for Adalia. That's going to be another story. So remember that as well. And so as I'm walking back, as I'm walking back, my PayPal says, "Hey, yo, money's been returned," and so I'm like, "Oh." So as like, and I'm looking at the WhatsApp, and I'm seeing the bubbles, and I was all like, "Oh, let me hurry, let me pull the trigger on this one real quick," and I just went ahead and said, "Hey, I guess because, what did I say? I guess, you send the money back is just pretty much saying, hey, yo, it ain't gonna happen this weekend." And I was like, hey, thanks. And I was like, send it. No real response right away. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I went ahead and deleted the chat, blocked her on there, blocked her on Instagram, unfollowed her on TikTok. Couldn't block her on TikTok. I ain't know how. Like, I wasn't even thinking that hard. So it's funny because she ended up in my live later, and I kind of brought up like relationship stuff as being a veteran. And that was kind of a red flag too, because like she was talking about, I'm anti-military. She was probably one of them free Palestine type bitches, the ones that love to post free Palestine but don't want to go, free Gaza but don't want to go fight for it, don't fight for freedom. And so, and there was that grand open and grand closing. Weeded them out quick. I think what it took, that one took a week and a half. I think, yeah, about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. Good job. Get them out quick. Get them in, get them out. Would have been nice to enjoy that 24-year-old pussy. But hey, like once again, it's so annoying. I swear I hate loving. That's one thing that annoys the fuck out of me. And the fact that I love like a girl. Like I will literally plan and plot and come up with these whole scenarios. I could, eventually, and I knew as soon as I moved into my new place, I was all like, I'm not going to want to leave this place for a while. So I'm thinking, 6 months, maybe, do 6 months and, go, live out there, pay this bitch's rent because she's only paying $200 a month. It's cheaper out there. And I'm like, Forrest, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. It's like, why? That's why I got to do some more analysis. Like, why do I have this desire to be in a relationship? Like, why? And there's just more confirmation as to why I just need to focus on my art until I have, the disposable income to just pay for a woman's time, like all of her time, like buy her out of whatever contract that she's in. So speaking of buying out of contracts, so got my first Escort this past week. The day that I moved into my new place. So I think it was the day before. I just went on. It was just, basically all I did was Google Escorts in Puerto Vallarta, and I forgot the name of the website that comes up. So I'm going through, hit up a few on WhatsApp, see who, just seeing who responds, and I'm just like looking at prices, coming back, talking, and there was one that I liked. Diana. So I hit her up and I asked, would she be available around like 9? Because I knew because I was supposed to move in at 5:30, and so I knew that I had to, get my stuff over there, get all good to go, and still get cash from the ATM. And she was like, yeah, told me the price. It was 1,300 pesos. And so, which roughly is, let me see, if 1,000 pesos is $50. Yeah, 1,300 is roughly around 60 something, just about. And so, I get all moved in, because at first, the plan was I was gonna, I was kind of like, do I really want to have her come to my place? And then I was originally going to just kind of do some nigga shit and basically, go fuck her back at where I was staying. But then I got in my head, I was like, oh yeah, this is the day I'm supposed to be moving. I know the owners, they were gone, they were out of town. And I was just thinking, oh, there's cameras, they're going to know why am I bringing a woman back when I'm supposed to be moved out. So I just didn't want no extra questions. I didn't want to get a WhatsApp message about that shit. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I live on the second floor. There's a gate. You got to get through the gate to get to my place. We're just YOLO, nigga. And so I'm like, fine, fuck it. So I already had like 1,000 pesos in my pocket. And I've been taking money out like before. And so, I go to the ATM, and there's one dude that will open the door for people. And he was asked for change, and I had gave him pesos the day before, and I told him, Jesus loves you, all that stuff, everything's gonna get better. And then, so I'm walking, and I think I had like 1,000 pesos in my pocket, and something just told me, I was all like, it's like the voice in my head, like God, it was all like, yo, just give him everything in your pocket. And so I did, and I put a hose, all the 1,000 pesos in there. He looked at me like the look of amazement, and he was like, this is all for me? I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, thank you, all that shit like that. And I was like, once again, I was like, things are gonna get better. And so I go to the ATM. I could only, like, I think I like, all right, I got to over my limit of withdrawal for the day. And so I was only able to get out 1,000 pesos. And so I hit up old girl. I was like, hey, do you do money train? Do you do PayPal? She was like, yeah. I was like, perfect. So, and then when I'm walking out, dude wasn't at the door. And I'm like, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to retire people from the bullshit jobs that they're in or whatever situations they're in. That's how I want to bless people. So I go back. I'm hurrying up. I'm getting showered, getting all washed up, getting all ready. And so I give her the address to across the street, the address where I was staying. So she arrives, and I was like, because in the picture, like she, she's topless. You see her titties, and her face is blurred out or whatever. And my bad. Excuse me. And so she arrives, and I'm like, damn, this bitch is fine. Like, it's like, damn. And so I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna be a wonderful night. And I get her. She don't speak any English, so we're using Translator app. We get on the couch. I'm like, yo, would I pay you now or later? She's like, now. So I sent her 1,300, but she was all like, oh, I didn't, it had Mas taxi, so I guess I was paying for her ride too. And so I had pesos, so I just gave her 100 pesos cash. And before that, like, as I'm texting her, I guess she wanted to make sure that everything was good to go. She didn't want to get scammed, and so she was like, hey, can you send something on PayPal? So I sent her $10. And yeah. And so I'm playing music, and just using the Translator app, answering the questions here and there, just because I was all like, hey, I want to kind of get to know you a little bit, makes the experience better. And, I kind of asked her how long she'd been doing it. 2 years. She told me, what was it like her first time? She was like, it was awkward, but she got used to it. And I was like, hey, I was like, hey, time gonna be going by quick. So I have 2 bedrooms, so I take her to the guest room, and so we go in, and then we make out a little bit, and then she plays with my dick. She has lube and stuff, and she was like, "Hey, I had condoms with me." And she was like, "Hey, you need your condoms because the ones I brought they not gonna fit." I was like, "So I'm talking about tubuku, black man tubuku." And so all right, so we're making out, and I was like, "Dang, I don't know if she's gonna let me film this. I don't want to ask, I don't want to fuck it up." But I was like, you know what? I'm at least gonna enjoy the sound from this. So I had my other phones, I turned on the voice recorder, and I got the music going. I got my slang and dick playlist, and I was like, I'm making sure that I'm performing. So I had the Blue Diamond, popped half of that motherfucker, because I was like, all right, we gotta be ready to roll. And so slide on the Jimmy. Well, even before then, I was like, yeah, you suck my dick, without a condom. And she was all like, for extra. And I was like, do I feel like paying for? I was like, no, you know what? Because I don't know. I guess they got some that will do it. I don't know. Maybe next go around. But yeah, so the slide. I go ahead and I slide in. Well, yeah, man, she took her top off. She had the dress on. She pulled her dress off and shit. And them titties was nice. Doing some beautiful titties, and it was both pierced too. And so yeah, and then I had the light. The light was dim. The light. I was like, I'm gonna enjoy all this. I'm gonna enjoy the view. And so we fucking. I got the music going, and that pussy felt so good. Like I felt it through the condom. I had to look down a few times to make sure the condom was still on. And so I'm taking her to Pound Town and shit like that. And so I wanted to choke her. And so it was funny because I wrote on the translator app. I was like, hey, I'm going to choke you. Is that all right? She was like, yeah. And then I had to a little bit more. I was like, hey, if it gets to be too much for you, like tap me, tap out. So she did. So yeah, I'm choking and shit like that. Just, oh man, that shit felt so good. The dominant shit. Then, and I'm fucking and I'm feeling that pussy like she's about to come. And so I'm like, all right, I talk her through her orgasm. So she nutted. And then I'm like, all right, so I'm going. And I bust my nut. It was a wonderful nut. Like, man, that pussy was fire. And so then like busted the nut, took the condom off, and even before then, like when she came over, she instantly like got affectionate, and it was like the girlfriend treatment. I'm like, damn, dog, I didn't realize how much I needed this. And so afterwards, we cuddled, and I guess I should have busted that nut a little bit earlier because my dick got hard again. I was like, you got time to go again? She's like, oh, we got time. It's like, damn, should have paid for 2 hours. But you know what? First time, so whatever. But we chill. She lay on me. And then it's time to get rolling because the ride was on the way. And then I played some of my music for her, and I told her, I was like, hey, yo, if you put me onto the music scene down here, I'll pay you. And then also, I asked her about OnlyFans. She said she thought about it. And I was like, hey, I'm looking for, I was like, I can help you make more money. I'm looking for a collab partner. And so yeah, gave her, we'll talk more about that later. And then gave her my, we exchanged Instagram and shit like that. So yeah, that's, on her way. That was, and I'm probably like maybe twice a month I'll link up with her. I wanted to fuck her again this week, but I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna, until I am bringing in income from my art. I'm not gonna entertain it. Like, I mean, mentally I might, but I got to start bringing in more income from my art. And it's like I got to be more intentional about this shit. Got to be more intentional. So yeah, there's that. All right, then. Man, I'm glad I fucked her before the whole situation with Juliet. So I was like, yeah, just making sure that I could still take a hold of Pound Town and shit. So because I've been talking shit, with Juliet, and I'm like, she's like, you should better be able to back it up. But all right, lastly, close it out with Adalia, who was my Spanish tutor. I made a move, and we didn't begin to know each other. We went to the same church. I guess she saw me as a brother in Christ, but I even though she said, like, I told her, like, I really liked her, she said there was no interest there like that. But there were just certain things, like, her being nice, and I think I might talk about a little bit more about that on another episode. But basically, I'll go ahead and speed it up. Basically something was going on with her bank, her PayPal, all that shit. So I had to get the cash out. She came over for the cash, and even before then, there was a day, like the day I wasn't feeling well. I laid my head on her lap, and she was rubbing my head and shit like that. And we had conversations about sex, but that woman had gone 4 years without even kissing somebody. And like I said, she was basically the only man that was going to satisfy her was Jesus.
Wait, like, you just hear my voice? Say, like,
That was tight. And I just viewed it as a challenge. And she came over, we were talking, and I was thinking about kissing her, but I didn't. But then, all right, so I'm gonna take accountability for it. But sometimes, you know how your body will move, and you're like, you'll be like, I did that. So I don't think I intentionally put my hand on her leg, but I did it. But subconsciously, I might have meant to do it. And then she moved my hand away, and I was like, oh, okay, awkward. I was like, oh, won't be going down that road. And then I thought things were cool because before she left, we hugged. And then she leaves, and I'm thinking everything's good. And then she had forgot her earpiece. And I was like, hey, you forgot your earpiece. And she was like, it's all good. Like, I'll get it tomorrow because we were supposed to have class on that Friday. She was going to come over for Spanish lessons. And then she texted me. She was like, don't try me like that again. And it just made me paranoid because I was like, you had your opportunity. I thought you moving your hand was, my hand was that. And I was all like, oh shit. It just sent me through the spiral of paranoia. And I was like, you know what? Don't worry about, like, you can get your earpieces, but we don't need to be doing Spanish classes no more. And I was like, it's too, like I said, I don't want there to be no confusion. And, she was not happy about that. She was like, there's no confusion, and I don't know, I don't feel like we're going back to read it, but I could separate, the two, and I'm like, I can't. Like, I have feelings for her and shit. And so she came by the next day, got her earpiece, and yeah, it was a verbal altercation. It was a spirited conversation. She ended up crying, and I just kind of, like, I don't know, we had an argument, and I was kind of getting turned on because, chaos. But I was kind of telling her, like, yo, y'all church folks, y'all be trying to, yeah, she was like, I'm going to pray for you and this, like that. I was like, I'm good. Like, I talk to God on the regular. And I'm like, this is what y'all church folks do. Y'all be on y'all high horse. Y'all be trying to think y'all better than people. And y'all are just as fucked up as us. And it's all like, y'all just don't want to address it. And so, like, yeah, she cried and shit like that. She ended up leaving, and she was talking about this whole, like, she could have hurt me. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, you can't hurt me, like, emotionally. I'm like, I almost wanted to add, like, what are you talking about? But I was like, you know what? I'm like, you know what? I was like, you know what? I was thinking after she left, I was like, all this shit. I kind of felt bad a little bit, because one, I was like, damn. I was like, fuck. Well, I just had to learn the Spanish shit on YouTube and fucking Duolingo and watching movies. And I was like, damn, I had a little like nice little assistant situation set up for things that I needed. I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll figure it out. And I was like, you know what, this shit just will slow me down. I need to go all in with my art. I was like, you know, even going to church, I'm like, I don't need to go show up there. I don't want to make it awkward. You know, maybe at some point I'll get a message from, you know, the folks, the pastor and shit like that. But I was all like, you know what? Just even with the Spanish classes, I'm like, that time, that 3 hours a day, I could be focusing in on my art because I gotta bring in, I gotta have this art. I'm on this like, I'm fucking 5 years into this art journey, and I'm still in the red. I'm still in the red with my art, and basically, I want to like, I feel like to for women to be with a motherfucker like me,
Like, you just see my
I
voice.
gotta make it.
Say
I
like,
gotta.
that's fine.
I gotta make it worth their while. So money, money is great lubrication. Just like fucking Diana, money. No, no having to wine and dine her. No having to. Yeah, fucking. Oh yeah, back to Juliet. She said that me asking her to come for the weekend was, it was she was disappointed. And I said, like, yo, if that was a disappointment, you're gonna get disappointed a lot by me. And I told her because like, I need a fucking runway to fail. I need grace. I need grace to be able to. I don't want to feel like I got to be this perfect motherfucker in these relationships. So here's that. Man, the hats. Is there anything else? I don't know. There's this white bitch I'm talking to. Yeah, off of. I think she's off of Hinge too. So she put me on to. I'm supposed to be taking the Bufo on Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes. Um, she wanna fuck, but I can't bust a nut between now and Wednesday. I can't eat red meat. Can't bust a nut. And yeah, I needed a break. But there's that. So we'll see how that goes. And on that note, there has been another episode of the Handsome Artist Dating Stories. If you would like to talk about your dating life with me, you can hit me up. We could do a Zoom or some shit. Or if you just got a dating story that you want to tell or tell me about, go ahead and my website, forrestjob.com. That's forrestjob.com. Leave a comment. I read all the comments, and that's all I got. Y'all be great. Peace.